So have you heard of this lock-in effect that's been going around in the mortgage and real estate world? What is it? Well, the lock-in effect is basically people that have a really low interest rate and they don't want to leave or sell their home because they're afraid to give up that low interest rate. How did they get this low interest rate? Well, it happened during the COVID years when rates dropped to historically low levels and people were able to refinance in the 2-3% range. And now, rates being in the 6-7% range, people don't want to sell their homes and move even though they might have to because they have such a low rate. So they're kind of locked into that home, and that's why they call this the lock-in effect. Now, it makes sense why you wouldn't want to give up that low rate, especially given the fact that rates have now doubled since that time. But the reality is some people have to move, right? There's life events that are constantly happening, whether it's expecting a new baby, need to get in a bigger house, you took a new job that requires you to move, etc. So when these life events do happen, what some people are turning to is just buying a new home, not selling their existing home, but converting it into a rental property. Makes sense, right? You're at a really low rate. Hey, I'm just going to keep that property. I'm going to rent it out. I'm going to go ahead and buy my new property. All that sounds great in theory, right? But here's the thing that no one's really talking about that I don't think people understand. So obviously becoming a landlord is not for everyone, right? Now you're dealing with someone inside your house. If something breaks, you got to fix it. If something needs replaced, you're the one that needs to arrange that to happen for your tenant. But the bigger thing that I don't think people realize is now this is an investment property, no longer primary residence. So if you decide to test the waters for the next 4 or 5 years and become a landlord, and at some point you're eventually going to want to sell that property, now you may be subject to capital gains tax. And capital gains tax on a primary residence, you're exempt. If you're a single person, you're exempt up to $250,000 of gains. As a married couple, you're exempt up to $500,000. But once you convert this into an investment property, now you haven't lived in there for at least 2 years out of the last 5, it's no longer exempt under those rules and you're gonna have to pay capital gains tax. Capital gains tax could be anywhere from 15 to 20%. So you could be looking at a nice hefty tax bill of $75,000, $100,000, just depending on the price of the home. So you need to take that in consideration before you decide to become a landlord and take your existing home and convert it into a rental property. Hey, the market could use inventory. So instead of maybe becoming an investor, think about selling your home and avoid capital gains tax.